What's up, folks? All right, where to begin? Today's July 31st. For a lot of landlords, it is the first day you can put up a notice to evict tenants. And instead of it being a 3-day notice like it normally is in most states, at least in Ohio it is, it's a 30-day notice. So let's say you put that notice up to evict your tenants on July 31st. You got to wait 30 days before you can even schedule the court date. And then the court date is going to be probably 2 weeks, 3 weeks out. And then you can win the case against your tenant, get that red tag on there, and get them the hell out of your property. Well, luckily for me, my tenant moved out on their own accord. Otherwise, I would have had to wait another 6 weeks or whatever. Now, this has been a hell of a ride, and I just wanted to, being a landlord, I just wanted to share my experience. You know, the title of the video is Worst Tenant Ever, and it really feels like, this has been the worst tenant ever for any landlord. Now, of course, that's obviously not true. There's been way, way worse tenants. It's just, for me, my experience, it really has felt that bad. Today, I walked into my first ever rental property after leasing it out to these tenants for almost 2 years. And I step inside, there's immediately a stench of dog piss. And not only is there a stench of dog piss, there's flies buzzing around everywhere. And then you see the mess. Furniture is left over. There's trash everywhere. The flooring has been totally torn up. The rug, the carpet is totally stained from dog shit and piss being poorly cleaned up. And I'm walking through this house that I haven't seen in 2 years because it's been in the tenants have been living in there for 2 years. So this is my first time seeing it in 2 years. And I'm walking through this house just disgusted. I go downstairs in the basement. It's terrible. I go upstairs to the second floor. It's worse. Now just try to imagine the worst possible, situation you can imagine. And it's even worse than that. Literally trash all over the floor, flies buzzing around everywhere. Half of the bedroom is ripped up carpet. The other half is stained carpet that still remains. There's a big ass headboard bed frame that I don't even know how I'm gonna get, down a flight of stairs and into a dumpster. So just so many things going on. So to give you guys a little bit of background, the first house that I ever bought, I rented out for the first time in August, September of 2018. I rent out this house to, and remember, I have no experience renting out property. So as soon as I have a mortgage payment coming up, my first thought is I need to get a tenant no matter what, so I can get a deposit and I can get first month's rent to pay my $1,000 a month mortgage. I'll just tell you right now, that's how much the mortgage was, give or take a couple of bucks. So I'm thinking to myself, all right, I need to get the tenant in there and I need to rent out the property. So August, September 2018, I get a call from this woman, and she says, please, me and my 2 daughters, I'm a single mom, me and my 2 daughters are looking for a place to live. The place right now is not a good situation. We're trying to get out of that situation. I say, perfect. Can you pay your deposit and first month's rent? And as a young kid, I'm in my early 20s, that's all I think about is if she can pay a deposit and first month's rent, she's got to have her life somewhat together, right? So I get that money, I stash the deposit into a savings account, and I take first month's rent, which is $1,600, by the way. Think about that margin. The mortgage is $1,000, and the rent is $1,600. By the way, it was way too high. That's probably why I attracted such a bad tenant. So that $600 that was going into my pocket as profit. So she's able to pay the deposit and first month's rent. I get her in the house, no background check, no credit check, nothing. I get her in the house, and first 3, 4, 5 months, pretty good situation. Pretty good situation. Then she's late, month 4 or 5. And then she pays on time the next month. And then she's late again, and then late again, and then she skips a whole month, and then she pays the next month. And me being a total newbie when it comes to the landlord game, I'm being so lenient with her because I'm thinking in my head, not only is she a single mom of 2 little daughters, she is suffering from cancer. I don't know what kind of cancer, but she is suffering from a cancer. Now, do I ever get that in any kind of documentation over the years? No, I'd never. So I don't know for sure, but I don't think she was making that up. I really don't think she was making that up. So not only is she a single mother of 2 little girls, and she's suffering from cancer. She's really having a hard time, like really struggling. So I'm being super lenient. You know what? Okay, just, we'll keep that missed month on the back burner as long as you can make your payments moving forward. That's really what I care about. So at this point, that's my main concern. Because I already paid 1 full month's mortgage of $1,000. I paid that right out of my pocket. I work a 9 to 5 regular job. And so when I see a direct deposit in my account, that's money that I'm using for my own living expenses, blah, blah, blah. And I had to take that out of my checking account to pay the mortgage for that missed month. And then around month 8, 9, 10, I don't know, it happens again, a whole nother missed month. Not only is it late, it's a whole nother missed month. So then a second missed month comes consecutively, then a third. And then obviously, experienced landlords at this point will be going, why did you wait so long to even think about evicting her? It's because I was naive. And I was listening to her pleads of, please just give me a little bit more time. And I was just too nice, okay? I was too nice. So she started gaining power and leverage and et cetera, et cetera. Anyways, I finally, kind of work up the courage to get that 3-day notice. This is sometime in 2019 at this point. 3-day notice on the door. Next, she still doesn't pay. So then I file a court date, not even a week later. Then we got the court date, and I win the ruling or whatever. I literally have to go up in front of a judge, and it's very not anticlimactic. It's very anticlimactic. He's just like, oh, okay. Oh, she's not here. She didn't show up to the court hearing. Oh, she's not here. Okay, approved. You can evict her. So I file to evict her, and as soon as I file to evict her, she goes, okay, I just got a donation from my charity or for my church of about $2,500. Will you just accept this and I'll continue living here? And for me, I'm just trying to pay the mortgage and not be late with the bank. So I say, yeah, $2,500, please. And once you accept money in the interim period of an eviction, that eviction is totally nullified. So I accept the money, and then we basically move forward. I actually lower the rent from that initial $1,600 to $1,400 at this point. So now I'm looking at, the same mortgage. It's a fixed mortgage rate or monthly payment, whatever you want to call it, of $1,000. And now I'm getting $1,400, $1,000 to pay the mortgage and $400 for me. Now, I'm not treating myself with this money at all. This is all going into savings for emergencies for the house or if something else is happening in my life. I'm just trying to build capital as a young guy making almost just really entry-level salary at this point after college. So I get to a point where we're back on track. 2020 rolls around. And of course, COVID hits. The CARES Act passes, and my particular house is backed by the federal government. And so what this CARES Act says is if your house is backed by the federal government, you cannot evict your tenant, and this is sometime in February, March that it passes, you cannot evict your tenant until July 30th, like we discussed at the beginning of the video. July 30th is months and months away. So I'm thinking, okay, if I can't evict this woman, how am I going to pay my mortgage of $1,000? Is that going to be coming out of my pocket every single month? Insane. Like, I can't afford that. Simple as that. Because I have my own rent to pay. Where I live, I don't own my house where I live. I'm renting an apartment unit. So I don't have the money to pay the $1,000 there, pay my rent at the place I live, and all these other bills that I have in my own life. So finally, you know, I am able to go to the bank. Wells Fargo is the holder of this mortgage, by the way, and not even call them or file a special whatever. I just simply go and log in, username, password on the Wells Fargo website. It says, do you need assistance? All right, 3-month forbearance. I am a Dave Ramsey kind of guy. I don't agree with 100% of what he says, but one thing that, you know, stood out to me is he said, don't do forbearance if you can afford not to. I saw that I could not afford. I had to, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So even though I like Dave Ramsey and I wanted to take his advice, I decided to instead take the forbearance. So that meant I have 3 months where I don't have to pay that $1,000 mortgage. It's all deferred, and maybe it'll be attached to the end of my loan, my 30-year mortgage. All right, so I think it started in March. So March, April, May, June rolls around. Okay, another 3 months. Ready? Can you pay your mortgage? I can't still. Can you give me another 3 months? Boom. Easy as clicking submit on the website. So I get another 3 months of forbearance. So I'm entering in my 5th month right now, maybe 6th month. That's something I should like know off the top of my head, but I don't. So because right now, at the beginning of the story, I'm worried about how I'm going to take care of cleaning up this place, repairing the floors, repairing the carpets, cleaning the carpets, painting, and making it presentable so that I can sell it. Now, all of this negative stuff has happened to me. Now, all that being said, I am so appreciative to have gone through that process, because this is not anything you can learn in school, the lessons that I've learned. You cannot learn it in school, simple as that. You cannot learn. You can read about it in a textbook or a regular book, but there are just lessons to be learned only through life experiences, the little minutia, the nuances. And I'm very grateful to have experienced the hardships that I did with this house, because now I know how to screen tenants, and I know what kind of rental properties to look for. I know just all these little things that I wouldn't have known if I didn't go through this experience. So bringing it home. So now I'm, CARES Act, can't evict my tenant. Luckily, instead of staying until, September, whatever, she decided to leave on her own. Thank God. So she's out of there, but I walk into the place after she leaves, and it's a complete disaster. Everything that I described at the beginning, but worse. So now I'm in the process of cleaning up, getting everything renovated and ready to sell. So here's my main point. When it comes to real estate, it turns out, even with all this, with this giant fiasco, it turns out like it's still going to make me a profit, luckily. Now, I lost a lot of rental income. I lost a lot of out-of-pocket money for paying the mortgage out of my own pocket over the last couple of years. But here's the thing. I bought the house for $160,000, and the market is booming right now, and I might be able to sell it for maybe around $210,000. Now, after agent fees and all the back pay of those missed mortgages, I'm still going to make a pretty decent profit. And so I guess my point is, be smarter than me, in the sense of don't be paralyzed with analysis. Or let me back up. Be smarter than me and do your research, but also you have to dive into it and do it, because even though you are going to have a lot of hardships when you dive in any business, whether it be real estate or whatever, you are going to learn a lot from it. Stuff that you cannot let paralysis by analysis, you know, prevent you from achieving your business goals. I guess that's really my point. I'm actually very optimistic, even though it's going to cost me a couple $1,000s out of pocket. I'm still going to turn a profit. So I'm very grateful for that. I just need to kind of get my ducks in a row, get this house listed, and just kind of walk away from that first property. And I haven't even mentioned what I've been doing on the side. Maybe I'll save that for a future video, but I've bought a second and a third house since then. And because of the lessons I learned from the first house, those two other properties are cash flowing really, really nicely. And so it's just about experience. It's about diving in. Do your research better than I did mine, but also don't let paralysis by analysis bog you down. Thanks.